All right, let's go and get started. A couple quick things. So just recall that your homework 5 is due on next Tuesday. I'm going to go and get the sign-in sheet started right here. You haven't really been able to get a significant start on it yet, but you should be able to knock a fair amount of it out. And maybe even all of it out after today. On Thursday and the following Tuesday, we're sort of going to have some closing lectures on Excel, if you will, because we're starting to get to a point where I think we've essentially covered what there is to cover in regards to the technical aspects of Excel. There's some formatting things, some data sorting things, some troubleshooting stuff that I want to talk about for the next couple days, and then that'll sort of close our talks on Excel. We're not going to have class on March 16th, assuming we don't have a blizzard in between now and then, so I'm just sort of reminding you on that. You'll turn in your homework on Tuesday. We'll have our last discussion on Excel, and then that'll be it. When you come back from spring break, we will have a discussion of the wonderful world of MATLAB. Sound good? Okay. All right, so today what we're going to do is an in-class exercise on statistical analysis. And just to give you a little bit of an idea of what it is that we're doing, you're going to be analyzing and discovering some statistical trends on what's called way in motion data, or WIM data, or WIM data. And way in motion data is essentially instrumenting a given patch of road or patch of interstate and measuring the weights of your large-scale vehicles along a given period of time. For instance, for this exercise, we're going to be looking at some data on a particular interstate in Indiana. And we're going to take this, data and do some statistical analysis on it and see if we can come up with some general trends as to the data. So first off, let me go ahead and pass out the actual hard copy of the exercise. Oh, sorry. Hard copy of the exercise. There's that. There's that. There's that. There's that. There's that. There's that. Does everybody have a copy of it? Is that an extra? Okay. All right. So if you go to Blackboard, let me refresh the page. Yeah, I got to refresh this. All right. If you go to Blackboard, what you'll see is a file at the bottom called gvw.txt, and if you open that, you should get a big text file that looks something like this. And if you just take a moment and look at it, it'll say, way in motion data collected during the 10th week of the year on an interstate in Indiana. Bless you. Data below is the gross vehicle weight. The units are kips, okay? So, for instance, that first data point, it says 36.2 and 76.9. Those are in kips. So if you recall, 1 kip is equal to 1,000 pounds. So essentially, in 2002, on this particular interstate, the first vehicle that ran over that sensor weighed 36,200 pounds. Okay? Sorry. All right. So does everybody kind of get an idea of what's going on with the data? Now, as we talked about last time, the data is not necessarily in an Excel-friendly format. So your first task is going to be to actually take this data, copy and paste it into Excel, and then use your text-to-columns tool to convert this into Excel-friendly data. So I'm actually going to let you all work on that a little bit, and then we'll sort of get back together here in a few minutes. Y'all go ahead and sort of get started on that. Who didn't get one? Who didn't get a handout? Everybody get a handout? What's that? I should, the label, yeah, but it should go well past 100. No, that's fine. That's fine. I think that's, if I remember correctly, the software that was used to collect this data, like the labeling, stopped at 100, but you've got well more data points than 100. No, for this exercise, start a blank Excel file because, well, let me say this. You'll start a blank Excel file and do this exercise, and then after you complete this exercise, you will do some additional calcs, and that'll be part of your homework assignment. Is everybody able to pull up the data and copy and paste that into a blank Excel sheet? Remember, you're going to start a new Excel file from scratch. Getting tongue twisted. And you're going to want to copy and paste that into cell A1. So here, hit Control. No, okay. There you go. Make sure when you copy and paste it into your sheet, you copy and paste it into cell A1, the very first cell. And you should get, if you've done it correctly, once you paste it in, bless you, you should have a big, long, bless you, you should have a big, long series of text in column A. And then you can literally just select all of column A and do text to columns. So I'll sort of catch up with you here in a little bit, but I want to make sure everybody's able to sort of do this on their own. Are you all right? It's
just being slow.
If you need to go to another station, I guess you can. All right. I see most people kind of getting there. Oh, sorry. Right. So, first thing I'll do is I'll copy and paste this into Excel. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here and hit Control A and Control C. And then on my Excel sheet, just go to cell A1 and hit Control V. And you should have everything sort of pop in right there. Now, because I've changed the settings on my sheet, my text looks a little smaller than yours, but this is just stuff that I have to do because my settings are a little different. So I'm going to change this to Calibri font. I'm going to make that 22. Make it a little bigger so everybody can see that. So once you've done copy paste, you should have a setup that looks something about like this. Does everybody have that? All right. Okay. I think most people are sort of getting there. Sign-in sheet is right here if you haven't signed in. Yeah.
There was some, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but you see like here, it says retitle the chart as 2-day breaks, comma, 7-day breaks, comma, included in quotes, 28-day breaks, period, included in the quotes. And I did it exactly like that. But
no, you don't have to worry about the commas. It's just from a grammar standpoint, you typically put your commas inside the parentheses. But
right, but where it's in the quotes, it makes it look like the title.
No,
of the,
no, you don't have to put the comma there. But I see what you're saying. All right, yes, sir. What's not working?
Need to be able to put it into the Excel.
All right, did you hit Control C or C?
Control C.
All right, now go
Control V, right?
Control V.
Okay, now it worked. I've done that like 5 times.
All right. Okay. Now, real quick, once you've got this pasted in, all you've got to do is you can highlight the entire column by just selecting the A. Like if you click the A, it'll pick all the cells in that column. And then you can go to Data, and then text to columns and go from there to start splitting that up into individual columns. All right. Now, remember you have two options. Do you do a delimited separation or a fixed width separation? And if you would, for this you do delimited because every data point is separated by a particular symbol. In this case, separated by a comma. Does everybody see that? So if I hit delimited and then do a comma, and I can hit finish or I can hit next, it doesn't really matter, you should get a split that looks something like that. Okay? Was everybody able to get that? Everybody okay on that? All right. Now, let's see, what's next? Okay. Now, one of the things that we haven't really talked about that I want to mention is you have the ability to rearrange stuff on your sheet by, physically moving cells from one location to another. And one of the ways that you can do that is to actually insert a row. In other words, if I want to take all these data points and, let's say, move them down one, I can click this first row right here, and I can right-click and hit insert, and it will actually insert a row and shift everything down. And you can do that as many times as you want. If you look, it says I want to insert 4 rows. I'll just highlight 4, right-click, bless you, and hit insert, and there you go. Okay? So, is everybody okay with that? Now, one of the things that, another thing that we haven't quite discussed yet is how to move data, particular cells from one location to another. Now, what I ultimately want to do is I want to take these cells right here and I want to move them there. Okay, so I want to take everything that's in these cells right here and move them. Now, I could copy and paste, but instead, watch this, okay? Look at my cursor. See how I get close to the edge and it kind of becomes that plus sign with the arrows? Does everybody see that? I can hold and click and actually move those cells up. Okay? So if you've done that correctly, your data should look something like this. What's going on with the text in these particular cells is the text is, like, for instance, where it says weigh-in motion data collected during the 10th week of the year, da-da-da-da-da. All of that text is actually located inside cell A1, but it's so large that it's displaying it across multiple cells. In other words, there is actually nothing in cell B1. Like, there's nothing there. You can look inside the formula bar, and if I do something like type the number 1, you can see how all that text is still inside that first cell, and it's just displaying it out because it's so long. Okay, does that make sense? All right, yes.
My right click don't work.
Okay. What are you using? Whoa. Move over a second. Are you using Edge? I don't know what's going on there. Select all. I don't know. I don't use Edge. But. Whoa. Yeah, I'd use Chrome. Yeah, try Chrome. Yeah.
How do you get the 4 inserted?
Okay, again, just you want to shift everything down, so instead of selecting a given cell, select the row. You can highlight all of that, right-click, and insert. Okay. And you can do the same thing with columns. So, how's everybody doing? Is everybody doing fine? Is your computer all right?
No, but I'm
Okay, all right. Everybody over here good? Okay. Now, let me show you something real quick. I want to compute some statistics associated with these data points, but I think you all are probably starting to notice that there's quite a lot of them. Okay, well, let me show you a little trick. All right, so what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to go to cell B6. So would you agree that cell B6 is where the data for 2002 starts, and then it goes down like that? Now, if you hit Control Shift and then the down key, Control Shift down, it will select every single data point in that line. Okay? There's a lot of them. Well, but think about what. Now that's a lot of data, but think about what it's recording. We're looking at the number of semis that went across the interstate in a given week in Indiana. So how many semis do you think go across the interstate in a given week? Maybe 42,000 of them. You know. So the data. I mean, it actually makes sense that there's quite a lot of them. Now watch this. I'm lazy and I don't want to keep selecting this range over and over again. Remember this right here where you can name a range? Well, I'm going to name this range up here. I'm going to name it Y 2002. Okay? So now, instead of computing statistics related to all that data, I can just enter Y underscore 2002, and all that'll be taken care of. So I'm going to do the same thing over here for 2004. So, click that first cell, Control Shift and down, Control Shift down. It selects all of them. Name that Y underscore 2004. Okay. All right. Now, if you've got that, then what I want you to do is, if you look, I've got a little table right here, and it goes from cell E5 to G11 right here. I want you to compute all of these particular quantities. So right up here, I'll do some formatting for you. So let's see. So we're talking about essentially this range right here. So that's the range I want. So if you notice, I've got, this is 2002, this is 2004, and I want, what do I want? I want the count. I want the min. I want the max. I want the median. I want the mean. I want the standard deviation. Okay, so maybe what I ought to do is, box that up or something, or I can worry about formatting it later. Right now, I'll do the first one, and then I'll let you all work on the rest. But I want to know particularly how many data points are in this 2002 range. Instead of counting this range, I'll just say equals the count of Y 2002. And then it automatically recognizes that's the range I'm talking about because that's what I named it as such. And that was one of the big mistakes, remember, on the first exam. A lot of people just put beam, somewhere. No. I actually want to name that range of cells up here a particular name so that I can refer to them when I do calculations. So if I hit enter, so that should be 42,075. So that's how many data points are in that particular range of data. So that's the count. Based on the formulas that are on this sheet and the formulas that we've talked about in previous lectures, you should be able to compute everything else. Note, just from a conceptual standpoint, are we taking the standard deviation of a sample or a population? What do you think? Well, a population would indicate that we've got 40,000 trucks going across the road in 2002, that there are no other trucks in the universe that could ever go across that road at all. So this would be a sample of data. Okay, so the stdev.s. All right, so I will let you all sort of do your diligence on that. While you're doing that, I will do some work up here. So done correctly, you should have the data. It should look like this. This is before I've done any formatting to the table. So I'll let you all work on that a little bit. Once you get this table computed and whatnot, I want everybody to sort of pause for a little bit because I want to explain what a histogram is. If you've had a statistics course, you probably know what a histogram is, but if you've never done any statistics, a histogram might be a new concept to you. So I want that to make sense. Now, if you're going in here and typing in numbers, you're doing this incorrectly. You should actually be computing these values. That's point one. And point two, remember, there is no Excel formula for mean. Or in other words, mean is not the formula. We have another name for the formula. What's up? Let me see. And let me see your Y2002. You're missing some data. That's, okay, so here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go to formulas, I'm going to name manager, and I'm going to delete this. Don't worry, I'll fix it. All right, and then I don't think you got all the cells. That's all it was. Okay. You might want to check 2004 as well. Is everybody able to get that table set up? Looking good, looking good. Looking good. You're working on it? Good. Remember, a population would assume that there's no other trucks in the universe that could ever drive on a road in Indiana, and that's obviously not the case, right? Okay. No, it's fine, it's fine. Go to Name Manager, and then go right there and just hit Delete up here. And then you can go and, oh, no, it's Control Shift and down. There you go. Well, you tell me. No, you kind of just said it. You kind of just used the word just now. What's another word for the mean? No. If you're trying to calculate, if I got 30 test scores in here and I want to calculate the mean, there you go. Well, you tell me. Remember, a population, think about this, the difference between a population and a sample, for this, a population assumes that there's no other trucks that could ever drive on this interstate in Indiana ever in the universe. This is just a representative sample of data on a road in Indiana. So we're computing a sample standard deviation, not a population one. So yes. Does that make sense? If we were talking about something like, you know, the number of sides on a dice, but 6. It's not, it's 6, you know. Yeah, true, but there's other trucks out there. That's the point, is that these are only the trucks collected in the 10th week on a particular interstate in Indiana. Hell, there's trucks everywhere. So no. Yes. All right. Well, okay, what you got to do is this. You got to go to, if you, just a heads up, if your range is named incorrectly, go to the Formulas tab up top, go to Name Manager, and then delete your names and rename them. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this. Okay. So start here. Now try it again. You got to start at the data point, not at the 2002. If it incorporates the 2002, it's going to think you had one vehicle one day that weighed 200 or 2002 kips. So that's one truck that weighs about 2 million pounds. That's a lot of if that's a Walmart truck, you know, with toilet paper in it, that's a lot of toilet paper. Yes.
So I'm assuming I set it up like that.
Yeah, but you don't need to worry about more.
Oh, okay.
But we'll get to that here in a second.
One for 2002 and one for 2004.
No. You just need one bins, one range of bins.
I want to know where it's at. The name manager.
Under the Formulas tab. There you go. That's a good question. We'll get to that here in a second. You can if you want. Yeah, you could go ahead and format the table if you want. I actually didn't put it on the homework because you actually have to read the file a little bit. You'll see what I mean. All right. While you all are doing that, I'm going to format this table up a little bit. I'm going to put a box around this. I just went to the border. You don't have to do this. I mean, you can if you want. But I went to the, if you notice right here under the Borders tab, and I put a big, thick outside border around it. I'm going to take all these cells and make them bold. Take these cells and make them bold. Now here's one I want everybody to watch this. Here's something I am really interested in. I'm going to highlight all of these cells right here, and I want these reported to 1 decimal point. So you can do that by just hitting this little number dialog box right here. Does everybody see that? Right there under number. And then you can say, all right, I want you to format this as a number with 1 decimal place, and hit OK, and now they're all reported to 1 decimal place. As for these, what I'm going to do is do the same thing, do a number format, but I'm going to do 0 decimal places, and I'm going to use that comma separator to put a comma in there. And there you go. So, and then I'll just take these values and center them up, which we're going to spend a lot of time Thursday just talking about formatting and how to do that. All right. Now, while you're doing that, I want you to do this. This is coming next. Okay, this is going to seem a little strange, but just bear with me. All right. So I want you to create a cell. We'll put it right here in like E14. We'll call it bins, B-I-N-S. And this is how it's going to go. 35, 40, 45. You know, you can see the pattern increasing in increments of 5 all the way to 100. So you can do that any way you want. You can just type them in. You can do a formula, however you want that. But I just want the numbers 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, all the way down to 100. Okay? Everybody with me on that? Now, let me explain, while everybody's doing that, let me explain what we're going to be creating. We're going to be creating what's called a histogram. Okay? Now, here's what a histogram is. Okay? So how many trucks ran on this particular road on this week in 2002? It was like 40,000 trucks, right? That's a lot of trucks. Okay? Now, would you agree, just by scrolling through the numbers, we've got trucks of all different weights. We got some that are 50 kips, some that are 60 kips, some that are 49.2. They're all over the place, right? So what I'm doing here with these bins, you can think of these bins as kind of like buckets, okay? So let's start off with the 35. So the 35 bucket, I'm going to take all the data points that are less than or equal to 35 and put them in a bucket. Okay, so let's say there's 5,000 of those trucks are less than 35 kips. Okay. Then the 40 takes all the trucks that are bigger than 35 but less than or equal to 40 and puts those in the bucket. Then all the trucks that are bigger than 40 but less than or 45, they go in this bucket. Sound reasonable? So what I'm doing is I'm sort of splitting the data up into ranges, like all the 35 to 40 kips, all the 40 to 45 kips. So it'll give me an idea of the distribution. You know, how many trucks were in this weight range, how many trucks were in this weight range, etc. Okay? Now here's how I want you to do this. All right? Now you're going to go, now everybody want to follow along with me if you haven't already done this. I want to go to the Data tab. Okay? And I'm going to go to Data Analysis. Now, last time we went and used like Solver or something like that, but in this Data Analysis box, we've got a lot of different statistical packages that we can use. I want to use the histogram. So if you notice, there should be an option there titled histogram. You hit OK, and you should get a box that pops up, looks something like this. Okay. Now I'm going to do this for 2002, and then you all can sort of repeat the process for 2004. So let's start off with the range. The range, instead of selecting all those cells, is just Y 2002. I don't have to go through and select it. Again, that's the purpose of naming that range of data. Okay. Now the bin range is this set of numbers right here. So E15 to E28. So remember, you can hit that little button there on the right, and you can select the range and go from there. Okay. Now, a couple other things that we need to indicate before you hit OK. I want a cumulative percentage calculated. I want a chart output presented. And all this stuff is going to go in a new sheet. So we need to give this new sheet a title. And I'm going to give the sheet the title 2002 Data. All right. Does everybody see this? Everybody good? Now, if you hit OK, a couple things are going to happen. Bam. Okay, did everybody get something pop up look something like this? Did everybody get this? All right, I'm going to zoom out a little bit to kind of explain what's going on. What's that? Did you get the chart? All right, hold on. Here, let's do this. All right, I'm going to right-click and delete that. Then we're going to try that again. You didn't click that. Now try it. There you go. Did everybody get this? Your chart may look a little differently than mine or whatnot. That's all right. Okay, you're...
Mine didn't do it either. How do you save that? I went back and added it in.
Well, hold on. I'll be able to... let's go to options. Did you not add when we did to add-ins? Remember when we did add-ins?
For Solver?
Yeah.
Yeah, I added Solver just instead.
Should have saved on there. Sorry about that. There.
Oh, thank you.
All right, now what's up?
I said I did mine too, but I didn't know why I didn't save from before. Because I had to add it back in.
Okay. I don't know. What's the question?
Like, it wasn't there, so I went and added it back in. Like, am I going to have to do it every time?
You mean the data analysis? That's interesting. I'm not sure they should have been on there. Let me put it like this. On your personal computer, once you do it once, it'll always be there. But I'm a little confused as to why it's not there myself, because it should be. So, well, no, but
Mine was like that, so I just...
that's weird. Huh.
So was his.
Huh. I'm sorry. All right. Has everybody gotten this? Okay, so let me do this. So first thing I'm going to do is, I don't like how this text is squunched up in these two columns. So watch this. I'm going to highlight the two columns. Everybody want to watch this? Like, I've noticed how I'm not selecting cells. I'm actually highlighting B and C. And see how I've got that symbol that kind of looks like that? It's like the dark line. It's got the two arrows. Like that. If you double click, it'll automatically change the width of those columns to fit the data. So that'll help out on your display. Now I'm going to change some formatting options associated with the chart. So for instance, I'm going to take the text in that chart and I'm going to make it pretty big. I'm going to say this is like 20, just so everybody can read it. I'm going to take the chart size and I'm going to blow it up a little bit. I'm going to blow it up a little differently than what's on your screen, but I'm doing it because my layout's a little different so everybody can read it. We'll say. That's good. Okay. I'm going to delete the legend and I'm going to call this, what is it, 2002 gross vehicle weights. And then I'm going to call this one down here, weight ranges and kips. Yeah. You didn't get the graph. Okay, hold on. All right, now hold on. Let me move it real quick. All right, so I'm going to delete this. It'll get mad at me, and that's all right.
That's fine.
Now you go to data analysis, histogram.
And when I tried to reference it,
But
it wouldn't let me reference it.
But you probably didn't check those.
Oh, okay.
Now what do you mean it didn't reference? Like you couldn't put in that?
Yeah, it wouldn't let me put in that for some reason.
Let me try it now.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Did you not name here? Hold on. Did you not name this range?
I did.
No. So you didn't name the range. Like shift control down. That's supposed to be named. See right there. Okay, yeah. See, so this is supposed to be named Y 2002.
Okay.
So these formulas, like you shouldn't be referencing a range. You should be
Referencing 2002.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's the purpose for doing that. All right. Okay. Now you all format that, according to the sheet and what have you. But what I want to look at is this chart. There's a couple other things I need to do. I'm going to right-click the bars on the chart, and then I'm going to hit Add Data Labels. So I think this will help clear everything up. So what this has done is taken all that data that was in 2002 and helped clean it up a little bit. So for instance, based on the data that was collected in 2002, 6,541 trucks that drove over that sensor were less than or equal to 35 kips, right? Between 35 and 40, 2,514, and then 2,876. Everybody kind of see that? So those are the counts. Now the percentage, look what it's doing for the cumulative percentage. So this first count was what, 6,541? So that was 15.5% of the trucks. Now what it's doing is it's adding to that count and computing a percentage. So at the very end, every time on a histogram, your cumulative percentage is 100. Does that make sense? Yes.
It's gone.
All right. Remember, you go into add-ins.
I remembered I had to add in the analysis tool pack. I did not remember
And it's
how.
gone. That's interesting. Tell you what, save your file. Do you have a flash drive?
No, I'll save it to the V drive.
Okay, save it, and then let me. Once you get it saved, let me know. Does everybody kind of understand the percentages? All right, now if you can do that for 2002, I want you to repeat it for 2004. Again, make sure you're formatting according to the sheet that's presented, or according to the stuff that's presented on the sheet. That's what I meant to say. All right, did yours save? Yeah. Okay, open Excel again. Now go to data. Okay, there it is. So open your file and try it again. I don't know. That's weird. Make sure you have the charts checked on the bottom when you do your histogram. Make sure you have that and that checked. And then you name your worksheet something like 2002 data. All right. Now, while you all are working on this, does everybody have their homework 5? Okay, if you open your homework 5, you'll notice that problem 1 states, once you have completed this in-class exercise, there are some questions that are being asked. Okay, so if you want, you can, like once you finish with this, like my advice would be to go on and go through this. One thing I am going to play a little close to the chest is if you look at problem 1, one of the things that it's asking is how many vehicles are above the legal limit. That raises the question, what's the legal limit? And my answer is I'm going to sort of stay a little quiet on that, but it is there on the sheet. I'm going to make y'all do a little bit of reading. Now, one other final point before you start doing homework 5, okay? Let me show you something. Everybody probably wants to pay attention to this up here, okay? Now, let's look at the second part to that problem. The second part to that problem says what? It says, here, and I'll do one with you. Can I see the homework real quick? All right. So, first off, both of these tables are asking for the total number of trucks, right? Do you need to do any calculations for that? I mean, they're right there, aren't they? Okay, now, it's also asking, for instance, the total number of trucks that are over 60,000 pounds. So I'll do one with you and everybody can do the rest. All right, the total, bless you. So everybody watch this, okay? So the total number of trucks over 60,000 pounds. So go to this. Would you agree that the total number of trucks over 60,000 pounds is essentially going to be however much this adds up to be? Because that's the, I mean, look at what this histogram did. It split it up for us. I mean, do we really need to do some fancy if statement or anything like that? It's right there. So I want to show you something, okay? I want everybody to watch this. All right, so I'm just going to pick some random cell out here, and you all can format this how you'd like. But watch this. I'm going to do equals the sum of, now watch this, okay? Instead of typing in a cell, I'm going to use my mouse, and I'm going to click the 2002 data sheet, and I'm going to highlight all of that. Look at what the formula looks like. It's now referencing that new sheet. Close that up and hit enter, and then there you go, okay? So Excel will perform calculations on different sheets. Like if you notice, I've got a 2002 data sheet, and then this thing's sheet 1. Imagine that these are just really, really big sheets of paper. So I've got a bunch of data on the first sheet and a bunch of data on the second sheet. I can do calculations back and forth across sheets. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? So what I'm getting at is it's a whole lot easier to just reference stuff that was in previous sheets as opposed to doing crazy if-then statements and things like that. No, you can do count if, and I'm going to get to that, but I'm wanting to make the point about going across sheets. One other final point I'll mention, there's probably about 8 other ways to do that that are all right. I could have done a if-then counter on one axis and just started summing those up. I could have done that. There's a couple other ways to do that. All right, sound good? All right, I'm going to let you all then sort of work on your own. I'll be around, but I'm actually going to stop the recording because I think by now everybody's probably good. So, but I'll let you all sort of do your thing and work.